Hey, Slash, I do buckaroos. How the heck are you? I thought I'd come back again. Again, normally I wouldn't be off till about 10:30. So what the hell, man? It's all a bonus tonight. I'm not usually being able to get out on a Friday night or do this on a Friday. I had the opportunity to get out. I just didn't want to. I just don't enjoy getting out as much as I used to. It always seems like a good idea till I actually get out and I want to come home. Anyway, yeah, that's the truth, man. So I'm home. I can be drinking in my underwear. I can be comfortable in my house, but no, I've got to have clothes on. I have to behave, and who needs that? Anyways, I digress. How the heck are you? I am. I'm come to Whiskey Whisper. I'm going to drink some whiskey and eat with you, but I do have a Gatorade here off to the side. Yeah, I had a couple beers a couple hours ago, and man, I had a hard time getting it down, if I'm being honest. So I did give myself a couple generous pours of some whiskey here. First one I'm having with you is this was a gift on St. Patrick's Day or around that, I guess. This is the Bushmills 10-year-old single malt. It was given to me anonymously, so I don't know who gave it to me. I have some speculation, but I'm not going to say it out loud because they clearly wanted to be anonymous. So yeah, I'm not going to out them. I think we're taught to believe that a gift is usually done out of kindness. But as you get older, you realize that's not always true. That sometimes people have motives behind gifts. You'd like to think it was done in kindness, but again, as you get older, you see that some folks have a motive in what they do. And I have that thought about this particular gift. There's something behind it, but anyway, they clearly don't want me to name them, so I'm not going to. Unless at some point they have the guts to name themselves, and then we can have that discussion. Anyway, Slunch. Oh, it's a very nicely done single malt. Again, it was the very first single malt of any kind that I had. I was going to say Irish single malt, but it was the first single malt whiskey of any kind that I had. And at the time, it was my particular favorite. I remember reading a review of it that just rubbed me wrong at that particular moment in time as they described it. Said it was good, but described it as a beginner single malt. That time, that didn't make sense to me until I discovered other single malts along the way, both Irish and Scotch, and then American single malts. And now I kind of get where they were coming from. Is this a good? It's a good first experience because it's a single malt that does everything right. Now, as stretch your legs, you're going to try, 12, 15, 18, 21, and older single malts, either Irish or Scotch. You will see there are more nuanced whiskeys out there without using the word smooth. But for a 10-year-old single malt, again, I feel like this one just does everything right. And that's what makes it a good introduction to single malts because it makes you want to try more, which is what it did to me. Um, I went from this to the 16-year-old Bush to the 21, and then I started discovering some Scotch single malts. I eventually went back. I personally prefer Irish single malts to Scotch. I know that's not the popular opinion, but I do. Mm. It's just such a nicely done whiskey, man. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of these pictures and posts on Facebook with these very careful curioed photos, either way back when or in very specific attire. What do I listen to? Obviously they're trying to throw you off the track. I don't tend to do trendy things like that because I feel like it's too easy. But if I did, I mean, I could post any random picture of me, and folks are going to get it right and get it wrong at the same time. Why do I say that? Because I mean, I could post a picture of myself, and someone could say, "Tom, it looks like you listen to X, Y, or Z," and they're going to be right, but they're also going to be wrong. You want to clarify that, Tom? Yeah, I mean, at any given moment, I could be listening to Iron Maiden or Tina Brooks. I mean, I could be listening to Maynard Ferguson or Frank Zappa. I could be listening to. I could be listening to Dean Martin or Jack Green. I mean, my tastes are really that eclectic, and I'm not making that up. But it is. I mean, if you've ever been to any of my shifts, you never know what the hell I'm going to be playing. I mean, I could have some Herb Alpert on there. I could have some Saxon on there. It could be Link Ray. It could be Joe Satriani. I mean, that's what I find so bizarre about what do you think I listen to? Well, I mean, if you only listen to one genre, I feel really sorry for you. If that's what you're going for, I listen to this or I listen to that. I mean, I'm all over the place musically. It really depends on my mood. And that could change by the minute if I'm being honest. I mean, I could come into work and put on some Iron Maiden, and 10 minutes later, I'm in the mood for some Tina Brooks. Or I could be listening to Tina Brooks and go to some Coltrane, and all of a sudden I'm into some Zappa. Or I could be listening to The Fools or Steel Panther. You know? I mean, my tastes are all over the place. I think a lot of people are too. So I mean, to say what do I listen to? Well, man, if you're trying to throw me off track, that's great. But if you're only listening to one genre, I really, really feel sorry for you. And if you're all, well, I got this long hair, but I'm really listening to bluegrass. Well, okay, but why? I look like this, but I only listen to Iron Maiden. But why? Why? And not why do you listen to Iron Maiden? Why do you only listen to bluegrass? But why is that all you listen to? There's so much great music out there. Why limit yourself to this small amount? Listen to it all, man. Expand your mind, man. I mean, I've got playlists. I've got specific playlists that are just jazz, just heavy rock, just this, that, or the other. But then I've got playlists that will do that. I've got certain playlists that'll go from Iron Maiden. If I've got it on a shuffle, I could you could hear an Iron Maiden tune, and the next song you hear could be Tina Brooks. And again, we can go from Blink Ray to Chris Duarte. I mean, I'm all over the place. And go from Robin Ford to Les Paul. I mean, again, for me, it's about that's why what I find most bizarre about these posts is that they want you to say one genre, right? Well, why? Why would anybody intentionally only listen to one genre of music? I can't make that make sense. Fred, if you're still out there, how you doing, man? Anyways, before I insult anybody else, let me go to another group of people then. So let's go a different direction, all right? So I'm not going to mention the actress. There's a black actress looking to do a movie about Betty Boop, and white people are just freaking their shit, man. No, you can't do that. Why you do it? So here's my question: as an obviously pasty ass white guy, why do so many pasty ass white folks get their panties in a bunch about the color of fictional character? Why are we getting up? So why are we having a debate? I mean, I'm looking at heated discussions about a fictional character. This character does not exist. It's not real, but you're getting mad about the portrayal of a fictional character, especially us pasty ass white folks, because we're the people that made Jesus white. I mean, the odds of Jesus, and I'm going to cut you some slack here, making the assumption that Jesus was a real person because there's actually no evidence that he was. But assuming Jesus did exist, the odds of being white are, right at slim to absolutely fucking none. So we decided to take this character and make him white. And you're mad about a fictional character? I mean, come on, guys. I mean, we saw the same shit about the Little Mermaid. I mean, it's a fictional character. We're looking at the character. We shouldn't be. The funny part of it. Here's the funny part about it. To me, is that if you were to interview all these folks individually that are pissed off, they're all going to say, "Well, I don't see color, Tom. Why do you want to make it a racist thing?" But if you talk about making a fictional character different than what they think it ought to be, all of a sudden, oh yeah, they see color. They see color just damn fine. Oh, all of a sudden you see color. Do you? You've been telling me for a decade you don't see color. Now you see that color. Oh, come on. It's a fictional character. I just saw something about. It was fake, but turned about Don Cheadle portraying Rob Halford. And I told my wife, I said, I know this isn't going to be real, but I really hope it is. Because I want to see those I'm not a racist folks heads explode. Because the truth is, if you really don't see color, the actor portraying anybody shouldn't matter at all to you. It should be about that actor's ability. And if I'm being honest, the idea of Don Cheadle portraying Rob Halford, I found intriguing as hell because I think Don Cheadle is one of the best actors there is, and I do think he's got the ability to do that. So yeah, I looked at that going, "Oh God, please let it be real," even though I knew it wasn't going to be, because Don Cheadle as Rob Halford, oh shit, that would have been a movie I'd want to watch. Instead, they're going to get some, not qualified, pasty ass white guy who's not half the actor Don Cheadle is, but the white people will be appeased. And that's what's important, isn't it? That the white people are appeased. Gotta appease the white people because they get angry awful easy, man. Those white people, man. Those pasty ass. I don't see color, Tom. But you're mad about this. You were mad about The Little Mermaid. Now you're mad about this. Come on, clearly you see color. Clearly you're just an idiot, but as you know, we'll talk about we'll go there another day. Anyways, anyway, I digress. Oh, so I'm pushing 60 here in just a couple days. How do I feel? No, I'm pushing 61. I guess I should say is what I meant to say. I'm pushing 61 here in a couple of days. How do I feel about that? Well, I hit 60, and I don't know. I mean, it's funny. I've looked at different. I don't know. Watched some videos about the age, especially about Gen X in particular. Most will say something to the fact that Gen X is turning 60, but they still act 45. Well, I don't know what the hell that means, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like Gen X was forced to grow up fast, but then they stopped at a certain point, or we stopped at a certain point. We were largely unsupervised. I guess in certain areas or neighborhoods, we could have been considered latchkey kids, but for me, I didn't ever thought of myself that way. We just ran around the neighborhood unsupervised and came back when the street lights came on. And as far as our parents were concerned, I was 5 minutes away in the schoolyard playing ball, when in reality, I was probably 5 miles down the road smoking pot in a train yard with a hobo. Now, that is a slight exaggeration, I will admit, but just slight. It's just a little bit of an exaggeration. The truth is, we were all running around the neighborhood. We were riding bikes 10, 15, 20 miles away, man. But as far as our parents knew, when we got home, as long as we were home before those streetlights came on, or at that moment of the streetlights coming on, we were just at the schoolyard playing baseball. We were shooting hoops. We were doing something. But no, we were, at the train yard smoking dope with a hobo. That I can guarantee it. It's a different time, man. It's funny when I start hearing about free range parenting, because that's what the 70s and 80s were. I mean, it was free range parenting before it had a name, before everything was scheduled out. Things weren't done like that back then. Oh, I won't say tiger moms and all that stuff didn't exist. It was just on quite a different level. A lot of it just had free reign, and we just did whatever the hell we could do and got home. As long as you got home alive and before dinner, everything was fine. Because if you got killed, you'd really be in trouble. Dad was gonna be mad if you got yourself offed. anyway, anyway, I digress. I saw something the other day criticizing Gen X from a millennial. Now, saying you guys think you're the greatest generation, you do this, and this. No, we never thought we were. Don't get me wrong. We're never posting saying we're wonderful. We're never doing that, because that's not what Gen X does. Gen X took self-deprecating humor to another level. You want to make fun of us? Okay, you go ahead. And then we're going to take it that much further. You say something, you got to say, we're going to take it to the wheels fall off. We never thought we're not saying we're better than you, or that we're just saying what we've accomplished, what we've been through. And I think that's the difference, is that when a Gen Z, Gen X, or not Gen X, but a millennial or a Gen Z looks at when a Gen X posts and says, oh, you guys think you were just all that. No, we're telling you what we survived. We're not saying it was wonderful. We're not saying we're great human beings. And we're not saying we've accomplished more than you. We're just telling you what we survived. You interpret from there what you would like. You guys think you're the best, but we're better than you because, well, you might be, but we never said that. All I said was what we went through. This is what we survived. If you think you're better than that, well, hell, I don't care. I've never seen one Gen X person say we're the best generation ever. Not one. I've seen a lot of us post about various things we survived. And if you were Gen X, a lot of it's going to be very similar. I mean, we grew up in different parts of the country, but a lot of it just rings true no matter where you're from. But I think, again, that's the fundamental difference between Gen X and boomers, and then millennials and Gen Z, is that there seems to be this competition. Boomers are certain they're the best that there ever was, and there's never going to be better than boomers. Millennials and Gen Z are rather convinced that they're the best. They've accomplished so much. Gen X, we're never going to say we're better than anybody. We never thought we were better than anybody else. We're just telling you what we survived. You're interpreting that because you're looking at what we survived as insurpassable. You're looking at what we survived as a whole lot more than you survived, and you clearly think you're better than we are. I'm not saying we're better than you are, but you're looking at what I'm saying and going, damn, how do you do that? All I'm saying is what we've been through. That's all I'm telling you. You interpret it the way you want to. I'm just saying it was a different time. It was before free range parenting had it named. And it was, you could call it free range parenting, I suppose, but it would be more like, if it was to give it an accurate name, it'd be more like extreme free range parenting. That's just, we just don't care. But it really, what makes Gen X different, I guess, because it was really the first full generation that grew up without both parents at home. Now, I'm not saying other generations didn't deal with something similar. I'm just saying it was the first generation that's when it really happened. That both parents really had to go out and work. That it was no longer Ozzy and Harriet. And for me, it happened at about 7. I guess I was about 7. Both parents had to go out to work. They were gone early, so I had to go to a neighbor's house because my sisters were off to whatever. I don't know. But then the very next year, I just was kind of left to my own devices. They were old enough to take care of me now. They weren't then. Hell, I don't know. Um, Bottom line is, you had to become self-sufficient at a very early age. Now that could be good, bad, or otherwise. It's really how you want to interpret it. I went through a lot of things that were great. I went through a lot of things that were terrible. My outlook on life could have been one way or the other. I chose to see the positive and not the negative. Now I've got friends that went through similar things that I did and chose to go the other way and chose to hate everything and everybody. I chose the other way, right? I chose to be an optimist. I went through a lot of things and I became good talk. Hey, thanks. I didn't mean it that way, but it kind of turned out that. But I mean, I went through a lot of things, and I did some things that probably weren't great. But again, you have to do what you have to do to survive. I like to think in the end I made the right decisions, but I made a lot of wrong decisions before I got to that point. When I met my wife at the age of 27, or the person that became my wife at the age of 27, that really changed the course of who I eventually became. We got married when I was 29, but I say sometimes kind of tongue in cheek, but it's really the truth that if I hadn't have met my wife when I did, you would have found me dead in a ditch at 35 because that's the direction that I was going. I don't know that I had the ability to regulate myself, and I think that's a lot of Gen X. We're 100 miles an hour or zero, right? There's not a lot of middle ground, and that's kind of how I was. I was full on. I wasn't going 25, working up to 50. I was 0 to 100 all the time. And I think that's how a lot of Gen X is because that's the way we had to be to survive. Meeting my wife, who was without a doubt, without a doubt, more intelligent than I. Um, it helped me to find some balance. So anyway, whiskey number two. I'm going to go a different direction. I want to start with that Irish. I want to start with something easy and then go kind of a different direction. I've got the Ben Holiday 1856 original, 100 proof, bottled in bond. Anyway, oh, that whiskey's so nice. Anyways, all right, I'm done preaching that shit. Yeah, it's just we all have different experience. One generation isn't better than, and I think that's why a lot of us don't like boomers, because boomers are always, well, we did this, we did accomplish that, we did this for you guys, we are much better than you. And Gen X is kind of the indifferent generation. And I think that's what millennials and Gen Z don't get is we every time when we post something about what we've been through, they look at it as bragging that you think you're better than we. No, we don't think we're better than you are. We're just telling you what we had to go through to get there to let you be who you are. And I'll tell you, I feel much differently about millennials and Gen Z than boomers do, and even a lot of Gen X, because I worked with a lot of folks. In a past occupation, let's just say, a lot of under 40s, a lot of under 30s. And those are the hardest working folks that I've ever worked with in my entire life. So I'm never going to disparage uh, millennials or Gen Z, because I think you guys are doing a great job. But I think a lot of why some of my generation and boomers have issue with you is because you're not sacrificing yourself. You're not sacrificing your body like we do, because that's how we were brought up. That's what we were told. This is what you do. You work to death. You support your family. There's nothing wrong with supporting your family, don't get me wrong. But the idea was you just give yourself to that company and they're going to screw you in the end. And we know it, but you still do it anyway. And millennials and Gen Z are especially Gen Z, they're smarter than that. So they're looking at work a little bit different. They're not afraid to work and they're not lazy. They're just not going to work for peanuts the same way our generation did. They want to be paid a living wage, and the powers that be don't want to do that. So no, I don't harbor any ill will towards millennials and Gen Z. I think you guys are awesome. And the people that don't think you're doing a good job are those that just want you to work for less and work harder for less. Anyways, I digress. Well, since I've rambled almost 30 minutes now, I'm not going to finish. I got a little talky. I wasn't trying to drink in a hurry. I got a little talky with you. But, anyways, I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom. And if you've taken, you want to take to heart anything I said, it's just that part about why are pasty ass white folks getting so hung up about the color of a fictional character. Think about that for a second, especially since these are the same folks that turned Jesus white. Why are they mad now? Anyways, one more time with feeling I'm done with Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, pervert wisdom, all around good guy. It's the lunch.